Growing up a pastor's kid is one of the most under-talked about and semi-traumatic, ways to grow up. Throughout your whole life, you subconsciously feel this immense pressure and immense weight on your shoulders. Every action you take and every word you say is a reflection of your father and a reflection of the church, ultimately. You hear stereotypes and you're called names and you hear jokes and you're branded into something before you were ever given an opportunity to have a true identity. Before truly understanding who you are. A label is placed on you and a mold is formed around you until inevitably you fall into the stereotype that you hear about so much as you grow up. Now, I don't want to place any blame on my father or the community I'd grown up in, because in reality, it was culture that had put these things in my head. But that, along with several medical issues, such as severe hearing loss as I grew up, from the age of 9 until now, has had a serious and profound impact on the way I was shaped as I grew up. Throughout high school, I would often hear jokes and comments that made fun of my situation, made fun of my hearing, made fun of who my dad was, and kids in middle school were ruthless, and in elementary school, I didn't truly understand, the gravity of the things that were happening to me. I was baptized when I was 7, and for most of my life, I grew up with the knowledge of knowing that God was real and that God really did love me. However, I didn't feel it. And it wasn't until my life really kind of shattered into pieces until I really understood what that meant. During high school, my life kind of revolved around sports, my friends, church, sure, but I did the things and the fun things to say, hey, I'm a Christian. But during my junior year, and really a little bit before that, things began to really shift in my life. My great-grandparents passed away. My dogs died at an age that was definitely too young. And a very close friend of mine from childhood passed away in a tragic accident at the age of 17. This, along with my past medical issues, had really began to weigh on me. And I didn't understand that there was a personal side of God that I could have come to and brought those things to Him. My senior year rolls around, and another one of my friends from elementary school, he took his own life at the age of 17. I was kicked off the cross-country team for unknown reasons that I still am not sure of today, the day before the last meet of the season. And then in March of 2020, as we all know, COVID hits, and everything I had worked so hard for was canceled in an email. I didn't get a normal graduation. I didn't get to finish my senior year of track, and all my hopes and dreams of running at a high level were kind of destroyed. I was completely broken, defeated, and I was more than angry with God. And this led me to experiment with drugs such as marijuana, and that eventually led me to experiment with things such as LSD and mushrooms. Those things had a serious effect on me and had left very bad habits on me that still affect me to this day. There are two specific moments, however, during the use of the psychedelics that I want to talk about. There was a moment on my 19th birthday where I was with some friends that I wasn't super close with, but it was the first time I really decided I wanted to do something hardcore. I did 2 tabs of acid, and it was my first time really taking this drug, and that's a lot for your first time. It shattered my entire reality. I remember specifically floating above my body at a moment after a very traumatic experience already, and questioning, is God even real? For the first time in my life. Instantly in that moment, I felt something leave me, and it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And in that moment, I realized everything was fake. My relationships were fake. I was fake. And most importantly, my faith was fake. It was a product of the things that I had grew up around. This led me to a 3 or 4 year journey on drug abuse, psychedelic abuse, and till one specific night, Jesus met me where I was. I remember sitting outside in my backyard, and I had done 4 grams of mushrooms by myself, and to me that was nothing at that point. It was very easy to do. Everything around me had melted. The stars surrounded me, and a bright light came down and sat right in front of me. And it said to me in the weirdest, most calm and rational voice, "What are you doing?" And instantly, in that moment, everything made sense. Everything that had happened to me made sense. The Bible made sense. God's love made sense. It was as if a veil had been lifted from my eyes, and I knew that it was Jesus in that moment. And he merely wanted me to come home because he had big plans for me and important things for me to do. And since that day, I have been doing my best to be the leader he has called me to be, and I will continue to do that until the day I die.